Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball is the truth.
The Lonzo Ball era beginning.
The next Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical leap.
We better than Steph Curry in the NBA.
I'm starting to see bust.
Lonzo Ball was arguably the most hyped up player coming into the NBA draft out of any prospect we've ever seen. And it starts with his dad Lavar Ball saying he's better than the likes of Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, to Magic Johnson asking him on national TV to not break all of his records, to getting his own signature shoe before even getting drafted. Lonzo Ball has seen the pressure in all forms, but from the moment he stepped onto the NBA floor, his career was already done. What if I told you those ZO2s and his dad, along with Big Baller Brand's assistant Alan Foster, who stole millions of dollars from the Ball family, are the root cause of all these injuries to Lonzo Ball's career? So stay tuned, because I'm about to break all of this down and how the shoes and other factors completely derailed Lonzo Ball's career. To start, we have to bring it all the way back to May of 2017, when the Balls took to Slam to unveil Lonzo's new signature shoe, the ZO2s. There was a ton of controversy around this shoe, and it all started with the price behind it. The shoe debuted at an absolutely mind-shattering $495 and an autographed option that's nearly double the price at $995. The worst of all, there was no credibility to the shoe, as nobody knew if they were actually playable, since Lonzo was the first to ever use that brand out of any athlete. Just a few months later, when Lonzo Ball was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers and he debuted in the Summer League with the ZO2s, and not only was it Ball's first time in the ZO2s in a meaningful basketball game, but it was the first time anyone wore them in a meaningful basketball game. In Lonzo Ball's debut Summer League game, he put up an atrocious performance of 1 of 11 from 3 and 2 of 15 from the field in his ZO2s. But how can a player who put up an atrocious performance like that end up as the Summer League MVP? It might just be because he switched from playing in his ZO2s. In 2 games with ZO2s, Lonzo averaged 8 points, 8 assists, and 7.5 rebounds a game. But after the first 2 games, Lonzo decided to switch it up. In 1 game with Adidas shoes, Lonzo put up 16 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. In 1 game with Nike shoes, he put up 36 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds. In 1 game with Under Armours, he put up 14 points, 7 assists, and 9 rebounds. And finally, in 1 game in Jordans, he put up 16 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. This could show that the root cause of Lonzo playing bad might have to do with the ZO2s and the Big Baller brand. But for those who think this is just a theory, as his early career went on, he stayed committed to wearing ZO2s. And as his career went on, we all know what happened. Injuries started to come in. Lonzo suffered 2 knee injuries alone in his rookie season in a 2-month span. And as the years went on, he would consistently get lingering ankle, adductor, and knee injuries over and over and over. Eventually, with injuries inevitably happening over and over, and as the years went on, in January 2022, Lonzo Ball got his first knee injury for a torn meniscus, where he was expected to originally miss 6 to 8 weeks. But he began the rehab process, and he kept feeling pain in the knee, resulting in the Bulls shutting him down for the remainder of the 2021 to 2022 season. And although this was bad, things got way worse. And a few months later, in September, after multiple attempts of rehab, it was announced that Lonzo Ball would get his second surgery on the same knee for an arthroscopic debridement, which was the same part of his knee that he originally got surgery on. What this surgery did was replace a damaged part in his knee, showing that the original surgery didn't work at all. This resulted in Lonzo Ball being ruled out for the 2022-2023 NBA season completely. What was looking like an already scary downfall that couldn't get any worse got a lot worse a few months later, because in March of 2023, it was announced that Lonzo Ball, who still seemed to make little to no progress after his second surgery, would be getting a 3rd surgery on the same left knee to implant cartilage. As expected later on, the Chicago Bulls vice president announced that Lonzo Ball is going to miss the upcoming 2023 to 2024 NBA season, which would mark Lonzo Ball missing a total of 2.5 seasons. Now the question is, how much of those injuries really have to do with the Big Baller brand and ZO2s? Well, let's ask Lonzo Ball himself.
No one knows the real story about them shoes, though. Them ZO2s I was playing in, they was not ready. No one knows this, but Demo had a backpack, and he had extra like 4 pairs of shoes in there, 'cause I had to switch them every quarter, because they would just rip. I'm like, yo, like I'm not playing in them shoes. Like, I don't care, bro. If you literally have my shoes from those games, like exploded, bro. Like no, I don't know how I didn't get caught.
Why'd you wear them? Just because you guys had like art?
They're my shoes.
And you're like,
I had to debut them. I'm like, cool. I can get a quarter in, but that's it. We gotta switch them every quarter. And by the end of that quarter, like they were beat up. And it's crazy, right when I switched my shoes, and all of a sudden, magically.
When you look at Lonzo Ball in high school at Chino Hills, and even at UCLA, he looked different from how he was in the NBA. He had a different level of athleticism, catching lobs from everywhere, dunking on people with ease, and even had that quickness and twitch to him that we don't even see anymore. On top of his movements and athleticism being off the charts, his impact on winning was evident. Lonzo Ball led his high school squad, Chino Hills, to a 35-0 record in his senior year, winning the California State Championship and blowing out multiple high school national powerhouses, all while playing for a public school. At UCLA, the success didn't stop. He was a college All-American as a freshman, leading one of the best schools in the country, all while putting up an insane stat line of 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists a game, while even putting in insane percentages up at 55% from the field and 42% from 3. Even once he got drafted, he saw instant success amongst young players, leading the Los Angeles Lakers to an NBA Summer League championship and being the MVP. But as time went on in the NBA and he got more and more games in those ZO2s, you could see Lonzo's athleticism, quickness, and overall speed start to rapidly diminish. With that, so did his numbers. In just his rookie season, Lonzo's field goal percentage dropped from 55% in college to 36% in the NBA. His three-point percentage went from 42% in college to 30% in the NBA. Now obviously the NBA game is different from college, but for a player that's as good as Lonzo Ball, it may have more to do than just taking time to adjust to the league. In March of 2019, when Lonzo Ball announced that he will be fully removing himself from any association with the Big Baller brand and started to wear other brand shoes like Nike, the statistical improvements were evident. In the following season with his new Pelicans team, Lonzo Ball posted career highs in points, rebounds, and assists at 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. The year after, his points per game went up to 15, and so did all of his percentages. Unfortunately, as we all know though, the damage was already done, and Lonzo Ball's knees and ankles weren't magically healed. And as the injuries persisted, it was seen in his performance. As I mentioned previously, the quickness and athleticism diminished, and so did his confidence, and it all ties back to those shoes. Lonzo reportedly would switch ZO2s every single quarter because they would rip, and it's known that when playing basketball with shoes that have bad cushioning, traction, and stability that aren't durable can result in persistent knee and ankle injuries. In a sport like basketball, with a ton of impact forces and repetitive jumps, wearing good shoes reduces the tension and pressure on your body, so it's no coincidence how the majority of Lonzo's injuries involved his knees and ankles. Despite these injuries and uncomfort though, Lonzo Ball persisted through playing in the Big Baller brand shoes. And when the injuries kept on coming in and the Lakers asked him if the ZO2s were the cause of his ankle injuries, he said he felt comfortable, and if he didn't, he wouldn't be playing in those shoes. As we know now, he was lying on that, and he even admitted it later on. When you look at this whole story, it's really tragic and sad to see how Lavar and the Big Baller brand put it on Lonzo Ball to wear an unreputable shoe, just so they can profit off his name, image, and likeness. And the result for Lonzo is that he's rehabbing from his 3rd knee surgery in less than 2 years and is on the verge of ending his career. This really brings up the question, what would Lonzo Ball's NBA career look like if he had just stuck with a known sneaker brand and not wore Big Baller brand shoes? If you really like the Ball family, check out the video on the top right hand corner talking about Lamelo Ball's insane come up to the NBA and how he went from a high school dropout to roaming across the world to being a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, all in a span of a few years.